I'll go over 2-1 win for Chelsea. I'm confident.
Okay, let's see what these lot are on. Oh, is he onside? Oh, no.
Oh my God. It's a free header again.
The free kick we've only just, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my days.
Are you taking?
Bro, what the are you doing, bro? You're the captain.
My life, bro.
4-1. 4-1. Newcastle 4, Chelsea 1.
Yes. 3 goalkeepers on the bench, 4 teenagers, 4 goals, 3 points. I'm off to Paris. Have a nice week, Matisse. No Champions League for you. And one last thing. Abby, are you okay? Are you okay, Abby?
This is outrageous.
You know what, right? Matty Renton is the king, right?
Wind up.
Winding people up after a defeat. We are here for the weekend roundup, brought to you today by Fair Play, right? And I'm rocking my T-shirt today, you know.
Pathetic.
He's had it away for
Absolutely
a few weeks.
pathetic.
Yeah, remember they mocked me when I was wearing this, right?
I still mock
Anyway,
you.
we'll get to
I still
all of
mock you for
that.
it.
We get all to them beautiful things. But first of all, let's introduce our panel. I normally start off with Flex, but let me start with Matisse, the Chelsea fan. Chelsea. Abby, massive Tottenham fan. AGT Liverpool. Flex. Man United. Even rocking the Man United top today.
Doyle says Doyle.
He hadn't had it on for a few weeks.
So,
But,
you know what I mean?
show to that they brought to you once again by our good mates Fair Play.
Yeah, what an app, Fair Players. You can just create anything you want. Flex had a good week on it this week. It's an app that allows you, as you know by now, to place real money bets against your mates without the need for cash. Who carries cash these days? Matty Cash, maybe. You can bet on whatever you choose. Me and Flex can have a go on FIFA. We can play golf. You might beat me on FIFA, but there's no way you're beating me at golf.
Done that FIFA, actually.
Yeah, probably owe you 20 quid. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have read this out today. Anything you want, really. You make the rules. So have a go at your mate that never pays up. Get him on the app, and this app makes him pay. There's no doubt about that. No commission. 100% of the winnings go to yourself. Free to download. So if you bet a tenner, the winner is keeping 20 quid. Download the app via the link in the description. Or if you're not really down with the technology like that, we've put a little QR code on the screen. It makes it easy for you. Bet with DR Sports. This week, Saka, S-A-K-A, not the water brand, the Arsenal footballer. If you sign up and he scores or assists against Wolves, free £5 bet. You can't ask for fairer than that. Remember, users who entered the 1 goal promo last week have a free 5 bet from last week. It's easy. Go and check your accounts. Of course, you need to be over 18 and gamble aware. Link in the description. QR code on the screen. It doesn't get easier.
Brilliant. Fair Play. Big up to Fair Play. Got to get straight into this super chat here from Kira Bitsy, who says, as soon as Spurs lose 3 on a spin, Abby wears her Man City colours.
It's facts.
That was a good one. I had to do it straight away. May as well start with
man.
that game yesterday. You was there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Man City, Tottenham 1, Aston Villa 2. A game that started off with Tottenham dominating. I mean, started off brilliantly, missed a few chances. Then they finally got the goal through Lascelles, so a little bit of a deflection, but a great strike. And then you thought to yourself, right, they're going to kick on. This is going to be a very impressive win by Spurs. But right on half-time, a brilliant set piece by Douglas Luiz. Great header by Pau Torres. And then in the second half, to be fair, I thought Villa, they really came into the game, scored their second goal, could have had more. And massive win for Unai Emery. Gets Aston Villa into the top 4 for the first time this season, leapfrogging Tottenham, who've now lost 3 games in a row, despite playing decent football. You was at the game, Abby. What were the feelings of the Tottenham fans after the game?
I think just disappointed because we fully should have won that game, and the scoreline does not reflect how that game went at all.
Hold on. I thought the second half, You should have been out of sight in the first half, but the second half
We had
Villa
loads
did
of
very
chances.
well.
Loads of chances in the
We had
second half.
loads of chances.
It was a basketball match.
Loads
Should have
of
been
chances.
2-2 first 5 minutes.
Without a doubt. It was completely end-to-end, that game. I felt that we definitely should have got something out of it. I think if you look at the squad, I mean, we're past bare bones now. It's literally like carcass beyond that, you know, of who we're fielding. Matty Cash, disgraceful challenge. Again, did the same, I think, to Matt Doherty last season. Escapes with a yellow.
that.
Christian Romero standing there watching as Bentancur's come off, so we all know that he'll take a 3-match ban whenever we have the reverse fixture. He'll be going straight in on Matty Cash. And unfortunately, it kind of ruined the game for us a little bit then, because Bentancur was exceptional for that half an hour. He's come back for half an hour after coming back from the ACL.
He was really good.
He was really, really good, as was Gio Lo Celso. Again, you know, we're going to play this high line. I know we joke about it, high line for laugh. We didn't have Vicario in the 10. We had a doggy in the 10 yesterday. And I think, you know, we're just trying to play good football, which we are. We're playing really, really well, and we're creating chances.
Not winning, though.
No, we're not at the minute, but I think that things, you know, they're very fine margins. You know, the first 2 minutes of the game, a doggy skies one over the bar. Kulusevski hits one that comes off the inside of the post. It's just, I think when your luck's not going for you, it's just not. Son was offside, I think 4 or 5 times yesterday, could have had a hat-trick. I think a lot of the players that came in yesterday either haven't played for a long period of time. Lo Celso being one, had a great game. Bentancur again got injured. Brian Gill comes in, and I think it's this eagerness to maybe like try and please. And he did all right. I think he is quite weak as a player. Like he's very small, and I think that you can be a winger that is small, like the Eden Hazards of the world, for example, and have a low centre of gravity, but know how to use your body intelligently. And I think that he just hasn't quite. I think in the Premier League, the physicality of it, I think he's not up to the standard maybe physically, but his work rate's really good, and he got himself in good position. Same with Brennan Johnson. I felt like he held on too long to the ball in some occasions, which might have led to Son being offside, you know, on some of the occasions. And I just think that, again, finishing just let us down yesterday. You know, we created loads of chances, and you're also thinking to yourself that we've got a back four. Well, our 2 centre halves were Emerson Royale and Ben Davis, who
That is mental,
are obviously not centre halves.
Emi Martinez made some good saves.
Emi Martinez was really, really good yesterday.
That is the decision of your manager.
That is the decision of the manager,
Because
and
he did have a defender on the bench.
he had Eric
and
Dyer on the bench, but I actually understand the decision because he wants to play the way he wants to play. He wants to play with the high
Adam,
line.
can I just ask, right? Is it time for him to ditch that a bit?
No, not at all.
In that you've just lost
High
3
line for
games.
life, mate.
You've lost 3 games on the bounce.
Eric
right?
Dyer
He said-
Eric Dyer makes no difference to whether or not we lose that game or not.
Well,
We still probably would lose that game
no,
with
but hold
Eric
on.
Dyer.
It may be with Eric Dyer. Maybe you drop a little bit deeper. You maybe compromise a little bit of the attacking style just to, you know, just settle things down until you start to get some of the injuries back. You know what I mean? We've been having a go at Man United, right? And saying, you know, and Ten Hag's been saying, and I've been having a go as well, but in defence of Ten Hag, he's been saying that this is the style we have to play at the moment because of the injuries. And United have had a load of injuries, just as many as Tottenham, but they've just won 4 out of their last 5 games, right? Ain't been pretty.
I think it's 5 out of 6.
Is it 5 out of 6?
Can't remember.
It hasn't been pretty. He hasn't
know
been
exactly
great
what
to
it is,
watch.
Finch, right?
But at the end of the day, right, they've won games. They've ground out those games. And sometimes, if you haven't got all the personnel to do it,
We haven't
You
got
know,
any.
it's-
We haven't got
it's-
any personnel. We've got no personnel.
You can't say that.
We haven't
Look
got
at how
any
many injuries-
personnel.
I was looking, you know,
Tottenham's
earlier
injury
on.
list, Robbie,
Our
come
injury,
on.
it's all
That's ridiculous.
in context of what is
Looking
at
at
your
Brighton's
club.
injuries, really.
Yeah, but it's
Hold on,
Brighton just
one
won. Brighton have
second.
just won 1 game.
Brighton-
They had lost. They were in a terrible,
One second.
stinking run of
Brighton,
form.
Brighton, who don't have a squad like you, right?
We don't have a squad. We've got
Brighton
the
don't
same
have
type
a-
of squad as
Hold on.
Brighton.
Brighton don't have a squad like you. It's Stupinian out, Welbeck, Solly March, Enciso. These are all main
I
players.
think it's a bit of a reach, that, Robbie.
Webster, Dunk.
Yeah. What, do you want to talk about our
Mitoma
players?
was missing
Dunk
on
got
Saturday.
sent off, so-
Milner, Lamptey came off, Fatty.
Someone did.
Right? They won on the weekend. Sometimes you've got to just, I'm saying.
They won this one game, and it was 3-2.
They haven't won for 2
They
months.
haven't won for
Robbie.
2
Come on,
months.
that's a big
It's-
reach. You
I'm
can't
just
do
saying-
that.
This
You know what I'm
narrative is
saying
not
about
washing
Brighton,
with me. This
I'm just saying,
narrative is not washing with
injuries,
me at all.
I get it, injuries.
You've got to find a way, though.
Injuries do
I
affect
agree you have to
but
find
what,
a way.
you can't just keep playing how you
I
play.
agree you have to find a way, and honestly, it's very fine margins. You know, yesterday that game could have been played out 100 different times, and I think Spurs win it. And again, it's not taking anything away from Villa. It was a really good game for a neutral. I think it was very, very open, very enjoyable to watch. Didn't know which way it was probably going to go, and I think considering how many injuries that we have, Spurs put up a very good fight. When you've got a centre-back partnership of Davis and Royale, who have never, ever played in that position before, especially together, I think, you know, it wasn't too bad. I wasn't looking at them being like, you know, oh my God, what has Ange done? It could have been a complete disaster class. And I sent that into the group chat yesterday and I said, oh my God, what are we going to see here? And I think it's very fine margins. You know, Son is offside 4 or 5 times in a game. That final ball into the box, just taking that extra touch, that is the difference it makes. And we're still playing really well. And I don't think anybody who watched that game, and I think predominantly most...
I'm just looking at him. He just laughed at me, and I'm laughing.
Because he knows that his cooking's coming. But honestly, I have no issue with the way that we're playing. I think against City next week, we always do weirdly well against City. I think it's going to be a different thing this time.
Playing like this.
We've got nobody. Yeah. You know, when I look at that injury list, and it is all in context. You've had loads of injuries. You've had loads of injuries, but you still have some depth there that you can call upon. I'm looking at our squad. The players that we would be able to call upon and slot in, the likes of a Perisic or a Solomon, or even, you know, just having that squad depth, they're all out. You know, it's not even like your first team is injured and then you can call on the bench. On the weekend, we had 2 keepers on the bench. I think we had 2 kids, and then we had a space spare as well left over because we don't have the numbers to fill it. And this is all something that goes back to obviously the hierarchy and always having a thin squad. And now just having such bad luck as lots of teams have had. I'm not saying this is only Tottenham, and I'm not just crying about Tottenham. We've all had that, but at the minute you are really seeing the issue. And I commend Ange on still trying to play the way, because we're enjoying the football we're watching. And I think we left disappointed yesterday because we knew that we should have got something out of that game. And it's the frustration that at the moment everything seems to just be going against us.
I try and look at it like, obviously it's funny because you're losing.
Yeah, and we'll hold it.
So that's like, to get that out of the way as the banter. Like we wanted this to happen to Spurs. Yeah, we wanted the implosion.
We were never going to win the league. Anyway.
No, obviously, but it's just still funny. And to have someone obviously stick to their principles so strictly, like as a rival fan, I want to see them keep failing. But when I look at it, if I look at it objectively, though, honestly, they are creating a lot of chances. I feel like the way they play is sometimes brave, but also is just sometimes really naive, because I just think to myself, if you've got that many injuries and you've got players who, even in your best form, in your best image, don't fit into it, I just think it's so naive to just keep saying it's okay to just give the other team this amount of chances against us. Like, there has to be, in my opinion, anyway, some form of pragmatism, even if it's for a 20-minute spell of the game or 15 minutes to get through to half time, or there's literally zero chill. When I was watching it, it was so transitional. I swear to God, I thought it was the NBA. But it was crazy. Like, they literally left Ben Davis and Emerson Royale as a 2 in front of the halfway line. They are the deepest players, and they're even ahead of the halfway line. And then Udogie, like you said, was in the 10/9.
And fullback.
And everywhere. And then as soon as Villa are just going to wait here. If they get the right out ball, they're out. And then even though half the time, you know, the ball wouldn't quite get there, or someone would make a good interception, and then you see the reward side, which is you win it back quite quickly, you win it back quite high. Yeah. I mean, Martinez has got to make saves.
Possession
so
turnover
that side of it was working.
mad.
But the trade-off is that you're still going to just keep conceding chances. So even if you do nick one, you're still going to be susceptible to conceding.
What's Aston Villa's strength? Right?
They don't really have a weakness.
Their strength is in transition.
I actually disagree. I disagree with that.
Their strength is on the counter-attack.
Considering they were at pretty much full strength yesterday, Aston Villa, they were massively open at the back as well and allowed us to have multiple chances.
Yeah, but no, that's because they play the same high line that Ange plays. That's why the game was like it was.
Well, exactly, but that's the same thing. So they play a really high line, and they've come away and they've played the exact same football, and obviously on a different day, if Tottenham take their chances and Tottenham win that game. So I'm saying you're criticising Ange for playing a high line and with all the injuries, and I think that takes a lot of bollocks to do.
No, but we're saying it's stupid.
But Unai Emery plays a high line, has come to Spurs and played a high line as well.
He's got his full squad, he's got his full team.
Okay.
Right. So what
but they didn't win by a landslide, they won by one goal.
We're not saying if you've got your normal squad, yes, we understand it, yes, you know what I mean? When you came to Arsenal, you played very, very well. But you don't, right? And some of the key components of that, and I saw it last year with Arsenal, right? That as soon as Saliba was out, we weren't the same at the back. You can't. We had to drop back a little bit because you can't play it as high a line again because, you know, Rob Holding's not as quick as Saliba and he can't handle players on a one-on-one situation. So you've got to start changing things up a bit. To go against Villa, who that's their strength, Ollie Watkins, a guy you can leave on his own up front and he can, you know, run in behind defences. You've got Diaby,
John
later on
McGinn played out on the wing. You know he's got legs.
John
and
McGinn had a
he's
great
just-
game.
Yeah, he's wicked. John
Leon
McGinn's
Bailey, you
sick.
can
He's
bring
so
on the
underrated.
Okay, let me give you another alternative then, because the week before at Wolves we didn't play well at all. We didn't particularly play high press, high line. Was boring. Again, we just invited
you
Wolves
did
on.
still play high.
I don't think we played at all how we've been
I just think
playing
you just
in
played
recent
crap in
weeks.
that game.
We were really poor. Didn't
play
get
a
at
high
them at
line,
all.
though, in that game as
Didn't
well.
press particularly highly. Didn't have that energetic feel about us, and got popped 2-1. So yesterday, honestly, I thought we played so much better than Villa for large parts of that game, despite having the issues that we've got at the minute. And you know what? You win some and you lose some, but the majority.
You lose 3.
Yeah, all right, you lose.
That's
3.
what I'm trying to say.
Trust me,
I'm
your
just trying to-
time will come. Your time will come.
It's
Your
not a
time
matter
will
of
come.
hate Spurs. Listen,
Your
listen,
time will come.
It's a
And I
matter of-
can't wait for your time
everybody's-
to come. I can't wait because you're annoying me today. And let me tell
Sounds
you,
like Kevin Keegan.
Matisse
I love it.
fuming.
I love it.
He's got to go to Middlesbrough and get some on
Honestly,
broken.
just-
She's having a go at Matisse.
Broken.
ain't even-
No, we've spoken
Matisse
about
hasn't
it.
even said
Matisse is
anything.
broken this morning. He's
Matisse ain't even said
broken.
nothing. I love it. I love it. Your time is coming. I love
Your
it.
time will come.
Do you know what? Let me say
Your
this,
time will
right?
come.
Time will come,
Spurs
right, and
need
I'll
a bit
take
of praise actually for the way that they started the game. I thought it was an unbelievable start.
That's a great
I do
game to
think it
watch.
was a little bit open from both sides. It could have been 2-2 first 5
Yeah.
minutes, just like it could have been 2-2 at Goodison Park yesterday. I hear the whole he's got to have big bollocks to play the same way. But at some stage, you will die on that hill because, yes, the injuries are massive. If I'm really honest with you, I don't think I've ever seen a Premier League team deal with as many injuries as Tottenham's dealing with now.
All in one
But-
go. All in
hang
one
on,
go.
no, no,
They're
hang on,
called
hang on,
Manchester
hang on, let me
United,
finish,
mate.
let
In
me
one
finish.
go.
You've got like 13, they might have 15. Like it's give or
United
take
have
between
more.
them.
We've had bare
But look, let me
injuries.
give you an
Brighton have got
example. In
loads. There's a lot of
2020
teams got injuries
to
at the moment.
2021,
Chelsea have had loads of injuries.
They spent £1
No.
billion on a squad.
Right?
let me just finish
Don't
my
bring
point.
Chelsea
right?
into
Let
that
me-
conversation.
Why are you looking? Why are you
Because
coming
don't
for me
bring
for?
Let me
Chelsea into
finish
the
my point,
conversation.
right?
Why are you
So,
coming for
as
me
much
for?
as you have to
Hold
praise
tight.
Tottenham for staying in the game with all those injuries, you still have to adapt and find a way. I look at the 2021 season with Liverpool. We had Van Dijk, Matip, Konate all out. We had Nat Phillips and Reece Williams at the back. We
Came to Old
adapted how
Trafford
we
and won.
play, came to Old Trafford and smoked these, and ended up finished third in the Champions League when everyone wrote us off
believe that season.
by February. So it goes to show that,
And
and
what-
that
how did-
season,
how
our
did you do
injuries
that?
were an absolute madness.
But you have to change your style.
But this is my point. We had to adapt and use
That's
the
all I'm
players
trying
that
to
are on
say.
the bench. But at the same time, I do agree with Abby. On another day, that's 4-3 to Tottenham. On another day, it's 4-4. On another day, it's 5-4 to Villa. It could have gone either way. The fact that they've now lost 3 games in a row, I don't think there's any worrying alarm bells. But at the
You can
same
see what
time,
they're trying
you need
to do.
to adapt.
You can
Abby.
see. I'm sorry. If Eric Dyer starts that game, the result is no different. It is no different. I would rather play that way, play good football, see an end-to-end match, not know what way it's going to go, and be like, okay, I can walk away from that, and I still think we played well.
Can I-
I don't want to see them parking the bus to accommodate Eric Dyer. I don't, because we can't do that either.
Let me just
Choose.
add a bit of
It is true.
perspective maybe on a different side of things. I feel like, yes, Tottenham are giving away these results potentially with the style of play. Obviously against Chelsea, they basically handed us the win, right? And he said in that game after the match, he said, with 5 men, I'm still going to play the same way. So we just have to listen to him. Like, he already told us what he is like. And at the end of the day, it's his first season. He's implementing his philosophy, and he wants to put a consistent theme across to that squad that this is how we're going to play, and he's imprinting
At all
that.
times,
A lot of times, people criticise managers for not having a style of play, not sticking to their guns, not having a clear plan. He has a plan, and yes, he's not adapting right now, but he's also not accommodating for players that he's not necessarily going to keep. People are saying bring Dyer into the team and drop it into a low block. Not only does that go completely against how he wants to play in the long term, because he's there for the long term, he's thinking into the future. He's not thinking about just this season.
He's out of contract in the summer and will likely go in Jan.
Yeah.
Fingers
So
crossed.
he's not going to go
like
back on his own.
Martial, isn't it?
He's not going to go back on his
Play him, make
own
him
principles to accommodate for players.
So,
Now,
I mean-
Man United is a different ballgame.
Sure, what is it?
You've had players that you're not necessarily going to. Well, you didn't want to keep.
Harry Maguire didn't even want him, mate.
Yeah, you didn't want to keep him.
Now he's starting overrun.
You've accommodated. So hold on. You've accommodated for him, right?
You've accommodated because Ten Hag says he can't have a style of play.
What
with
do you
that he
prefer?
wants.
What do you prefer? Because obviously you're going to come with the stats. You've won 5 out of the last 6, whatever. What would you prefer? Would you prefer your manager to have a set style of play and be strict to it and not accommodate to players that he wants out, or would you prefer him to bring in the Maguires, the McTominays, and compromise his style of play and go against it for the short term of results?
I prefer to not be stubborn, because stubbornness can get you sacked. It won't get Ange sacked because he's so early in his thing. But when you were for me, where Ten Hag was, it's absolutely about just get your head above the pulpit and just get wins, because sometimes you can't get a style of play. You can't implement certain things when you have that many players out. Like he says, the routines aren't there. You're trying to do things with players, like you said, that you're not going to keep. So you're also being counterproductive that way by asking players who you have clearly come in from first day of pre-season and said, Eric Dyer out, Lloris out, Lo Celso out, Brian Gill out. So now what you want to do is keep them players in because they have to play. I understand that. But ask them to do something they can't do.
Eric Dyer cannot play in that role.
What's he got a better chance at? Has he got a better chance at? There is a bit of a low blow and there is protection around him. I.e., if Harry Maguire has to come in,
go deeper.
That's what we have to do because we have to get through.
Do it.
Maguire, we pay him.
You watched it at Wolves. You literally watched it at Wolves. Did you not see it at Wolves?
But you lost in the last minute.
But we still lost. So what's the difference?
You know what I'm saying? And you was winning 1-0.
Yeah, we were winning 1-0. We were winning 1-0 in that.
You've had 3 games in the lead that you've thrown away.
Yeah,
there's something wrong.
I'm telling you, people would rather see what we saw yesterday and what we've seen the last, against this. No.
Tottenham fans did ask for good football.
No one wants to see pragmatic football. As I said, this season there is no expectation on Conte.
They've just come from Conte and Nuno and Mourinho. They want to see good football.
You want to see exciting football.
Yeah.
Say you lose your next 2.
Well, we probably will lose against City, and it is what it is.
Honestly, they're not going to flinch, Robbie. They're not going to flinch.
It makes no difference.
I can rate that in a way.
It's not.
What they're aiming for this season.
It is because he's making decisions to still play like that.
Look at who we have. Go and look at our squad. Look at who's on the bench.
He's still saying to play like that and play is open. So that is on him.
So what would you rather us do? Park the bus? Just sit there and wait to die like we did last season? That's what we did all of last season and the season before that.
You know what reminds me of? Remember Bielsa? And it was the same thing, and he didn't adapt his style. And then after, we all loved it at first. It was all exciting. Then after a while, what happened to Leeds? That's all I'm saying. Let me do a few of these super chats here. There's a lot of them coming in. Kieran Bitsy. I did that one already. Ivor says, let's spend 30 minutes on Manchester United, as we always do. Don't worry, we get to United. He's being sarcastic there. Ginger Bish 23 says, Big Ange, naivety, stupidity, braveness will cost you. Eddie Red says, cry at home, Abby, cry at home. First name says, hello, Don Champagne Robbie. Will you ever do Blood Brothers again? The wash and go football thing again. Would love to see it with a new generation like AGT, Abby, Matisse on the touchline managing and stuff. That'd be cool. Jakor says, Matisse,
high line, mate.
Would you take Ramsdale to replace Sanchez? D. Sinclair says, Dyer played against Wolves and we lost. Nick Hill says, Spurs tailed off in the second half. Credit to Villa and Senior, good evening. 3-3 draw would have been a fair result, no disrespect. Don't see anyone apart from us, Arsenal, or Liverpool usurping usurping City. Kira Bitsy says, a few weeks ago when Curtis was on the show, Abby asked Flex, Eric 10th Hag, and when was their mid-table clash with Chelsea? Now, by the time that game is around, United might be ahead of Spurs in the table.
And they might be. Got a long old season ahead, Clara.
Maybe that's why you shouldn't have said what you said then. Marshall says, Spurs need to adapt and win games and stop playing this high line. Even Klopp, who's known for a high line, would have to adapt his tactics. Josh says, suitable name for Brian Hill. He plays like a fish.
Brian Gill.
Decent Claw says our defence didn't cost us, it was our front three. Could argue that because they did miss a lot of chances. Is that Tapping Tobes?
Tapping Tobes in the building, man.
Tapping Tobes, man.
He ain't talking about my keeper Onana. Where are you? Where have you been, Tapping Tobes?
I know he's going to come for me. Why does Robbie love to waffle? Brighton hadn't won 6 Premier games prior to this weekend. We smoked Villa yesterday with 10 men. You smoked them. You lost the game, bro. This is the thing. I don't know. You've lost 3 games in a row and you smoked every single one of those teams.
Well, the Chelsea game should never.
I don't know what they're smoking, man. The smoking that they're talking about ain't on the pitch. It's off the pitch in one of those coffee shops in Amsterdam. That by the sound of it. German Chicken Wing says, sorry, you had a bad record against City away. Garbo Staunton says, don't worry, Abby, Matisse cooking is going to last all day. See you on the Bigo. Massam says, seems really quiet today. So I want to ask, what is the difference between Enzo and Will Hughes? Apart from
You didn't tweet that, did you?
No. About 100 million. That's the
apart from
difference.
I may get to the last part. Yavendra
Robbie's
says,
on
when
fire.
Liverpool loads of injuries in the season 2021, Liverpool fans were told that injuries are part of the game.
We were.
Now we're supposed
are.
to sympathise with Spurs.
No.
Abby, just get on with it. Injuries happen.
We are, and we'll play the high
Mateo
line.
Torres says,
We'll play the
Abby-
high line, thank you.
That line
Abby,
for
this
life,
weekend
mate.
is a taste of 38. Taste of game 38. Arsenal. Black Wolf says, I swear, let Ten Hag do the same thing that Ange is doing, and you English would crucify him. Tapping Tobes again. I know he's vexed when he's sending in super chats. Right?
Tobes.
Nice
He
one,
says,
bro.
we were pragmatic last season. Did it work? We played high to put pressure on them, and it worked. How is it stupid when we created a ton? If we took 1 out of 10 of our chances, this convo would
Massive word,
if
though, mate.
It didn't.
Massive word times,
You
mate.
lost, bro. That's what I'm trying to say.
Tobes.
Maybe you need. It's not even a matter of. I'm not saying play low block. I'm saying mix it up a bit.
Mix some
You're going to
blend.
have to mix it up a bit. I've seen that with Arsenal this season. People have been saying, "Oh, Arsenal not the fluent thing," and I think he's done that deliberately because we were fluent, brilliant last season. Did we win anything? We didn't win it, did we? So you've got to try something else. That's all I'm saying. I was watching that game yesterday, and don't get me wrong, obviously I want Tottenham to lose, but it was a brilliant game. It's entertaining, but I'm looking on it, I'm thinking, Tottenham are a bit mad here, man. They're gonna, you know what I mean? As soon as that goal went in, I'll tell you this, right? As soon as they equalised on half-time, I knew Tottenham would lose that game.
Yeah, I said
honestly,
they would.
honest to God. Before that, I was thinking, yeah, if you took your... But as soon as they equalised, I'm like, yeah.
Football is a game of fine margins.
Tapping Tobes, mate. You need to tap out.
Isn't it?
That's what you need to do,
The
Tobes,
game
mate.
says, Matisse is very quiet. Pride of London, speak up. And Ricky Proctor says, Abby, agree, Spurs have a great record versus Pep City, but the way Ange plays, do you think that Spurs have the same success versus City
Abby might be playing.
as Jose
Yeah.
and
At
as
the minute.
Conte did? Steve Tackle says
no.
Spurs isn't a big club.
Stiff what?
They don't have to win every week, so let them stick to their high line and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, we will.
Hold tight with the 3-point collectors. And if I can get this one, the computer's bugging out on me, man.
Too many super chats.
Cryptic Dino says, Robbie, I told you, told Teletubby yesterday, who's that? Tottenham Teletubby yesterday, that I want my tickets to see BOE live when you guys go on tour and come to New York. Smirkle, chin up, bro. And Jonathan says, Abby's cool, calm, collected energy has disappeared. You're a little bit...
I'm vexed
you are.
today.
You're normally
I'm vexed.
sort of, you know...
Because I'm
No,
not just
Robbie,
not having
you are
this,
winding her up
You're
now.
winding
I ain't
me
said
up.
nothing to wind
I'm
you
not
up.
having this
Yeah.
fake
I
narrative.
ain't done nothing to wind you
And
up.
as I've said multiple times, if people like to listen, which they don't on this show.
Russell Jones says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She's going to explode. Chimera says, Ma, stop helping the ops, you fool. Let her get cooked. Big Dog says, is Garnacho's bicycle kick the best bicycle kick in
get on
Premier
to
League
that.
history? We'll come to that. And Pluck Master said, great goal, but Trevor Sinclair's was better. That was a wicked goal.
That was a bad
Jake Upton says Villa for top 4. They're in it at the moment. Ginga Bish says 23 says I would rather adapt and win than be stubborn and lose. And Garbin Staunton says tapping Tobes, you're getting cooked later too. What you're saying in super chats is disingenuous. Let's go to Matisse.
Hang on, let's just big up Aston Villa though for getting the 3 points. They are near enough the top 4 now. And
No, they're in the
Unai
top 4,
Emery-
yeah.
Well, there you go. Unai Emery, what a manager, mate. 3rd best manager in the league.
You might have
for
won
sure.
something if you'd have kept him.
I actually believe that if he was your manager last
You'd have
season,
won
you
something.
would have won the league.
Yeah.
I actually believe
Why
that.
do you think that? He was the manager of Villa last season.
Took over at 16.
If he got to Anfield in April and just had to see the season out, I think he's got
But
more
didn't you
experience
guys
of
just
doing
say that he got lucky? That was what you was pointing out, innit?
No.
What, yesterday?
You've been saying he got lucky, he
I think
should have
he's-
been smoked, fine margins.
Yeah, it's
now all
fine
of a sudden
margins.
we
But
should
he
have him
didn't,
as a
though.
manager.
I'm talking about
we're
Spurs
happy.
yesterday.
We're happy with our manager,
won, though.
right? It was his 200th game on Saturday. He's won more than any other Arsenal
as
manager
well,
in that,
won more than
200.
Wenger.
So
Didn't
he
win the
ain't
league,
doing
though.
too bad. But we'll get to Arsenal. Let's go to Chelsea.
Bottled tight.
Oh, this is
Chelsea,
gonna be fun.
you know,
I can only help you so far.
Matisse has been very confident over the past weeks. They had that great 4-4 draw, not win, over because a lot of the way I remember one time, right, when Arsenal went to, just so I've got to touch this, right, we went to Chelsea and we came back and we drew, and all the Chelsea fans keep going, yeah, Robbie, you lot carrying on like you won the game. You drew against City. It wasn't a win. It's 4-4, but it was a good result, right? Had a great result against Tottenham. Everybody thought you turned the corner. Everyone thought that this was going to be the game where, you know, because remember, Newcastle have a lot of injuries, Abby. A lot.
Yeah, they do. They do.
A lot
They
of
do.
injuries.
It's a good
They
point.
Let me
absolutely
just
do.
remind you, yeah, Newcastle,
You're literally making
who
out.
played at home like you played at
You're
home.
making out. I've said that no other team has injuries. I've said multiple times. Every team
But it
has
seems to-
injuries. I'm talking about my team and how it's affecting my team.
They seem to be getting on all
Because
right
the
with this.
conversation was about my team.
Yeah, but they seem to
My
be getting
team.
on quite well with this.
My team.
But anyway,
Anyway.
yeah.
Let's go.
What, City or Tottenham? Because you have got the City colours on. But anyway, right.
Proper on a
Robbie,
wind
you're
up today,
on
aren't
one
you?
today.
Why are you
She's
winding me
on
up
one,
today?
man.
I'm not winding you up. Matisse, right?
Speak, man.
I think a lot of people thought that Chelsea would go up there and turn over Newcastle because they are got a lot of injuries at the moment. They've got a game, you know, tomorrow, I think, against PSG. You know, really a good time to play Newcastle. You go up there and get smoked 4-1. I mean, I don't think anybody saw that coming, especially when, you know, you equalised and got it back to 1-1 with a great goal by Sterling, great free kick by him. But Newcastle turned it on, and that was a really damaging defeat. And, you know, Reece James in the game, captain for the day, gets himself stupidly sent off. I mean, you know, what could have went wrong went wrong.
Worst weekend of the season, Robbie. Just genuinely, it's just across the board, across the Premier League, with all the results.
No, it was a good weekend for me.
Just a shocking
Weekend for me, mate.
horrendous weekend for me. Honestly, it doesn't get any worse than this. And now I've got some twat on my Twitter account called Skullfuggery. Yes, you prick. Stop tweeting on my account, right? I lost a forfeit on the Big Six. He's there tweeting Enzo slander on my account. I'm getting absolutely cooked by my own fan base. They really think I would tweet that. That's another story.
I thought you tweeted it.
My team lost 4-1, and he's still on there now. 4-1.
Keep going, man.
Red card for Reece James. He's the captain. The goals we conceded, I don't know. I was actually ranking and rating the goals we conceded as to like which one I hate the most.
Is it the Thiago
like,
Silva
it was
one?
actually
The
quite
Thiago
difficult.
Silva.
It's
The
difficult.
Thiago Silva one's
It's
up there,
tough.
man.
Bad one.
Because it's like, do I go with the Thiago Silva one where he just lapse of concentration, the third one after literally conceding the second like 30 seconds before? I hadn't even finished cussing about the second goal. I hadn't finished getting up, like punching the wall, whatever, and then next thing you know, the third goal goes in. Or is it the one where there's a free header for a centre-back, Lascelles, nobody marking him? Just like the City goal, Akanji, free header. I don't know what we're doing on set pieces. They play it short, they work it round. The setup's still pretty much the same when they cross it into the box, and he's just free. No one's marking him. I honestly, Robbie, like the way that we defended, it was everybody was just poor. The whole back line. And to be honest, the performance from back to front, no one played well. Palmer, that was his worst game. Sterling was nice for the goal, but outside of that, you know, he wasn't great on the track
How were
back.
they so bad after?
Just everybody
after
was- Gallagher
much
was-
positives?
Gallagher was bad, everybody was bad.
Do you think maybe the international break maybe had something to do? Because they've been flying the last few games to be so bad. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Thiago Silva, so much experience, normally safe pair of hands. For him to have that lapse of concentration,
To be honest, he has made a few of those errors this season, though. That's the problem. Like, he had one against Villa, West Ham. I think he was kind of caught in transition as well for the goal. He's had a few moments this season, Thiago Silva, where he's kind of just been caught in no man's land, or he's not been concentrating. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that defense. And what is it? 8 goals in the last 2 games they conceded. So there's a lot of reflection to do there. And then Poch comes out afterwards, and I think he says, you know, we're probably going to need to be training tomorrow, like, you know, there needs to be some sort of repercussions for that, because it was such a bad performance. Literally nobody played well, and then they end up not doing that. They had the day off, so I don't know what's really going on. They just need to reset. But it was shocking, Robbie. Honestly, worst performance of the season, hands down. A lot of the defeats I've been able to say similar to Abby, which is we performed well, we didn't take our chances, fine margins, both boxes. I can't say that for this game. It was just shocking. Like, really, there was maybe a 10-15 minute spell, not even that, in the first half, where you could say we were starting to get better. But no,
you seen that tweet?
Oh, take that down. It's not me.
It sounds like Matisse, though, doesn't it?
It's not me. I am not. Guys. There's hold on. There's 10. No, I'm actually going to do a statement. I'm going to do a statement. There's 10,000 of you watching. I have not had my Twitter account from 9 o'clock last night to 9 o'clock tonight. Anything in between those 24 hours is not me. It's skullduggery. I need you to go on there and defend me in the comments. It's not me, please. I'm begging you.
Some super chats. Frankie says, with all the tears this season, I'm convinced Matisse is boohoo man. Sponsor your team, Matisse. That they sponsor your team, Matisse. Discount code for some points. Damn it. Antonis says, Matisse, don't even compare Rice to Enzo. We need an apology. Bella, a guy with a gang, says, petition for DR Sports should invite Angry Rantman to talk about Chelsea. AK says, no football focus from Matisse on Sunday. Is he okay?
I was covering the F1.
Ricky Proctor says, Chelsea have turned a corner. They've turned 360 degrees. Black Wolf says, Matisse, I feel he owes me money because I thought Chelsea was going to cook at St James's Park. Did you say that?
Did you say it?
To be honest, coming into the game, everyone was talking about these injuries that Newcastle have got, and I knew their starting 11 would still be strong. And if you take a look at Newcastle's starting 11, they still got very good players. The only player that doesn't usually play for them in that team was Miley, the 17-year-old who got the assist. Brilliant assist, right? But you take a look at the rest of that team. Trippier's there, Livermento's there, Bruno Guimaraes is there, Joe Linton's there, Gordon's there.
Lascelles don't normally play, but he has recently.
Isak and Almiron, yeah. But yeah, so it's just that maybe just Lascelles, that's it, right?
Just going back to...
Hold on a sec. The only thing that was in that team that was weak was the bench. But we didn't get to the bench because 61 minutes gone and we're getting slapped. So the bench only comes into play 65, 70 minutes, and thereafter. So this whole narrative that Newcastle were going to get piped, no one said that.
Jason says, I love the show. Abby can cook, but damn, she's salty. And he says, a long way to go, but I like the fact that Arsenal is showing a slow burn in the season. Big Dog says, someone get Abby and Matisse some Carmeline tea.
Chamomile, Robbie.
Jason says, nah, AGT. At the end of Unai's games, when he was in charge of Arsenal, we all knew that we were going to give up any lead or draw. That is very true. His closing off of games was terrible. That was actually true when he was in charge of Arsenal.
I have to say, Reece James has not played 3 games consecutively since 2021.
Is that correct, or did you see
I saw that stat. Yeah, I did see that.
Did you check that?
It's FTBL, my friend. So if
that doesn't mean it's correct because they also took it from Twitter.
Okay,
yeah.
But
Lon Warbo
it's 2024 in a couple of weeks.
Is that correct?
Do you think he was the right call to be your captain?
Of course,
we don't have many options for captaincy, to be honest. Thiago Silva doesn't speak English that well, or he doesn't. It doesn't speak it fluently, and it's a young team, so he's one of the young players. But I have to say, it was a joke. Him getting sent off, both the yellow cards were just immature, idiotic.
Imagine
just
if my captain
stupid.
done that. They would say strip Bruno.
Just so poor. But Bruno is 30 years old, to be fair.
Lon Warbo says Matisse thinks we lost because Enzo had a baby, and Jack says as normal service has been resumed at Bottom, I see Abby has returned to a beloved Man City. Right.
Chelsea deserved that. Chelsea deserved that cooking. They do.
That was terrible.
They do.
I don't even know
Matisse, I remember obviously in the lead up to this, obviously you were getting excited and thinking you turned the corner and cussing my team, and you had a lot to say about my players and Wan-Bissaka and Dalot and
still
Bruno
don't rate.
That's fine. You don't have to. We don't need any of your ratings. We don't need it. And trying to home in on us, looking where we are, Onana this, and just you had so much to say, and I just politely said to you, well, I disagree with you. Your project's not maybe what you think it is, and it's not all as rosy as you think, and but I feel like you just dismissed me. So Am I cooking you now? Not really. I'm more just in reflection.
Is the season just done now
No,
today?
there's many more twists and turns to come.
You're confident now, yeah? Everything's going back on the up for
We'll
Man
talk
United.
about my team in a bit. Obviously, this is just the Chelsea section. I just feel that it's not. There's still
Cold Palmer, he said.
Yeah,
Cold
Cold Palmer. Obviously, didn't really do anything in that game. I feel sorry for Raheem Sterling because obviously I rate Raheem Sterling. Gets him a fantastic free kick. But yeah, I just feel like you had so much to say about Man United. Just football just has this amazing ability.
Humbler.
To just be a constant reminder of just remaining calm,
Ain't
not
that right?
sack your manager. Your manager's got no idea. You were saying
I didn't say you should sack him.
It's what's he trying to do, and the player's this and the player's that. And look,
I feel like you're now talking about Man United fans. Do you want to address them?
No, I'm talking about what you said.
I didn't say sack Ten Hag. Do you want to address Man United fans?
So all I will say
think you did.
is that yes, football is such a massive humbler.
I think with Chelsea, and I did say this to you, I think the Spurs game, you can really kind of just take that out of the equation because it was such a bizarre game, and we did give it to you. But I think the City game where you looked really good, and I said last week, I don't want to take anything away from you, but I just felt City weren't at their best in that game. So obviously going to Newcastle, where, in terms of their injuries, obviously it's a very difficult place to go, but do you just feel like maybe what you thought had turned a corner and was developing maybe just isn't?
I didn't even say we turned a corner, because with Chelsea, every single time they build up a couple of games, what I actually said was every time they build up a couple of games, they slap you back in the face. So actually we need to be quite calm and to see if we can put together a run. I said we need to put together a run, right? That's what I actually said. So when it comes to Chelsea, I'm not surprised. They're inconsistent. I was confident. I said 2-1. I said 2-1. Yes, because this game did suit us. If you look at Chelsea's big game record this season, we have played well. Whether we've won all the games, we haven't. Yeah, but we've played well. Are you watching the games? You're watching the games, right?
Of course I am.
Exactly right. So we've played. So right. So us playing well in every single big game until this game is reason for me to think that going up against Newcastle, we should again play well. This is the first time we've been absolutely slapped up in a big game this season. Every other game we've played well, and we deserve to win more of those games than we did, whether people want to admit that or not. So I predicted 2-1. I said it was going to be a close game, but I think we'll edge it. We should have been better than we were, but we weren't.
Should have lost even more. That Joel Linton header.
Yeah, we were awful this game. We were horrendous this game.
On the Saturday Football Show, we were watching the goals flying, and we were trying to get the likes up, which is actually what we're trying to do now. So make sure you smash that 3K likes before Flex and Robbie and myself talk about my team.
3.
Well, let's get it to 4 then.
11,000 watching.
But Matisse picked the phone up.
A
lot of the chat was, I said, right, if you get us to 1,000 likes, I'll call Matisse. The ringing was very long, I'm not going to lie.
I was contemplating whether I was going to pick it up. I was just looking at it like, do I really want to answer this?
He told me to F off, and it's good to see him today.
You do swear a lot, you know what I mean? I saw that. Lot of bleeps, man.
It's like an ER machine,
It's football, innit? I know. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
You know what I mean.
Listen, I've taken
this is
many.
the most calm I've seen this guy for a long time.
Listen, let's jump on Man United, right? Man United, right? A lot of people thought to themselves, going to get cooked yesterday. Going to Everton, the Everton fans really, really wound up because of the point deduction, right? They had banners, they marched on the ground, right? Manchester United being under a bit of pressure. This was a game where a lot of people thought, this is where United, they're gonna taste some real problems. Lots of injuries still. Had to be playing like an 18-year-old kid in midfield and stuff like that. But the game starts off with an unbelievable goal by Garnacho. I mean, is that the best goal? It's a goal of the season so far by a mile.
It's going to win it.
And sure. I thought Elise's goal on the weekend for Palace was a brilliant goal, but that goal was unbelievable. But have you seen a better overhead kick than that?
Maybe Philip Gary Neville. Do you remember his one for AC Milan? Jumping to the edge of the box, centre back.
Yeah,
it's up there.
It's Sinclair's one. I remember Trevor
Sinclair's one didn't go top bins. It was more like middle, right side.
But he was further out.
You got Matters one at Anfield.
That was a
from
banger.
Di Maria.
Come on,
That was like a sidekick.
Obviously, Rooney's one.
Rooney 2011.
But Rooney's one was nearer.
Yeah, but it's
That
in
was
the...
a
Rooney's one was
The
nearer.
The thing is
I think
about
it is. It's
I think
the,
it might
it's the
be.
magnitude of the game,
That's
isn't
what I was going to say.
Rooney
It's
in the derby.
it's magnitude of the game versus technique. You know, to do that in a Manchester derby and, you know, that make her go on to win the
What
game
about
at Old
Bale?
Trafford is
Bale
insane. But then when you look at the degree of difficulty that Garnacho's was
Magnitude.
having to run backwards to make that, that's a speculative. That's just Dalot putting the ball into a good area. That's not like a pinpoint
ball's
cross.
well behind him.
He's got so much to do.
much.
I think in terms of technical difficulty, I think Garnacho's one is better. In terms of the moment, obviously doing that in a in a Manchester derby is it? But when it went in, honestly, you can watch back my reaction.
I saw your stream. Yeah, you were
Shock.
I jumped up and screamed first, and then I just went, what have I just seen? Like, it's one of those where if you're the opposition manager, if you're the opposition fans, if you're the keeper, if you're Tarkowski and you watch the ball go, you just have to go, we can do nothing about that. All the Man United players couldn't believe it. Garnacho couldn't believe it. It's one of them goals that happen in football, whether it happens down the park or, you know, I mean, nine-a-side, right to the top of the game, or Champions League finals, like when Bale done it and things like that. Like, it's just one of those goals that you would you just want to see it again and again and again, every angle. And even if it's your most bitterest rivals, you just go, flipping heck, man,
Yeah,
what a goal. And that was just, it was just such a big moment of the game, obviously so early. But actually, I praise Everton a lot, because you can see the goal like that after a couple of minutes. Your game plan can go right out the window. And actually what we saw, I don't think we was very good for the remainder of that half. Well, let's just say all of it, because the goal was only after like 2 minutes. They created 4 or 5 big chances. You know, Kobbie Mainoo, who I'll talk about in a second, off the line. Onana, big saves. Couple of good blocks. Like then just bad finishing from Everton. So we rode our luck, because I wasn't happy with how we were playing in midfield. The link between midfield and attack, we wasn't keeping the ball. And Everton were just going direct into Calvert-Lewin. He was causing problems. They were hitting it down the sides into Jack Harrison's channel and Dwight McNeil. Just proper Burnley, proper Everton, but proper Sean Dyche it was. And we were fortunate not to go in at like 1-1, maybe 2-1. But then where I do commend us, again, a typical Man United side of, you know, I mean, not too long ago, is coming out second half, and that same pattern's going to repeat, and Everton keep coming and keep pushing. And that didn't happen. We got our foot on the ball, started to play some football, rightly so, won a penalty. It was a bit contentious. Obviously, Martial got booked for diving originally.
It was a blatant
and then when you look at it back, I was like, oh, did he put his leg there? But then when I looked at it back properly, it's a penalty. You know, that came from Bruno, setting him up. Then more control. Bruno sets him up again, nice little dink, and then we was in control of the game. So, in a game that many predicted Man United would lose, maybe even a lot of Man United fans, you know, considering the type of game that was, to go and win like that with that's been all of our front three finally scored. Rashford, he got given the penalty by Bruno, but at least he got on the score sheet. Garnacho obviously scored, and Martial, our whole front three scored, which never happened. So, in terms of it being a perfect even for Man United, young Kobbie Mainoo gets his Premier League debut. What a debut! Like, we could see, you know, obviously we were doing that thing in New York when I was saying, look at Mainoo.
Yeah, he played in that friendly.
And he, against Arsenal, was the best player on the pitch. In a massive stadium. It's his first pre-season.
Bad injury,
you could see, in the very next game against Real Madrid, he got injured and he's been out since then. But you can see there's something there. The composure of how he takes the ball, how confident he is. He wants to pass forward. Positional awareness, you know, to be there to get that ball off the line in your first game. And it says a lot about what Erik ten Hag thinks about him. That is a difficult game to come into. Amrabat, we just saw him play in a World Cup semi-final for Morocco. We see him play in a Conference League final in August. Those are the players you're looking at for a tough thing when there's a few injuries. He said, no, the kid's ready. I've waited for you to get back fit. It was a big blow, and that shows me he was definitely in the plans to start the season. The way he was playing all of the games in pre-season. So I actually gave him man of the match. Obviously, Garnacho scores a goal like that, which is incredible. So you're always going to talk about him. But Kobbie Mainoo was brilliant. So
Luke Shaw as well.
And Luke Shaw, so good to have him back.
Yeah, he looked
get him
good.
off after 75 minutes, 3-0 up, get him rested. Tough game against Galatasaray. The night just couldn't have gone any better. No controversy, no madness.
Like we said, despite the way we've all here, including me, been cooking United over the past few weeks, right? They're 6 points off the top. They're 4 points off top 4. They're 2 points behind Tottenham, and they're 8 points above. Oh, what about 8 points? No.
Chelsea's 10.
Yeah, they're 8 points above Chelsea.
Wow.
I mean,
but we were told by a lot of people outside the fan base, and even some. This is to Man United fans as well who are panicking. I'm not saying it's all fixed. I'm not saying sit down, all you lot, look at us, we're back, because we're not. We're not back to anything. I said this batch of games is going to show us a lot about Man United. Our next game is Newcastle away, ironically. So I could be sitting on this table this time next week looking like Matisse. Do you know what I mean? We got Galatasaray next away from home. Then we got after that game we got Chelsea as well. So
the confidence of that
confidence of keep winning, and we think we've won like the last 5 out of 6 games. It's like it means something. It means something. It means that the players have dug in. Remember when we got slapped consecutive 3-0s against City, 2 different competitions, but 2 disgusting performances. It was players aren't playing from him. My reaction at the time, I said, "There's no way back." That's me as a United fan in that emotion in that time. So they've done well to kind of stabilise the ship. Obviously, I think we'll still go out of the Champions League. I think that's a bit of a lost cause now. Obviously, if we can get 2 wins and Bayern help us, maybe. But I think that's a push. But in terms of the league, the objectives that we're in about where we're supposed to be. So it isn't.
You got to credit Manchester United for their resilience last night. No one, and I include my team, your team, everyone's team around this table, no one wanted to have to go to Everton in that environment when they're all holding up red cards, by the way, saying that the Premier League is corrupt. For United to go into that cauldron and come away with not only a win but a clean sheet as well, that's definitely an unbelievable achievement. And on the Everton side of things, Ashley Young, listen, I don't want to tell anyone to retire, but you saw what he did against Liverpool. For someone that experienced, you can't be throwing your leg out on Martial like that. It was a definite penalty.
Should have been sent off, really.
Garnacho got booked
his abuse on the ref for that as well. I think he should have gone off. I still think Everton stay up, but last night you have to give United the credit for going there, winning, scoring that goal, which again is probably going to win the goal of the season. The only ones I can think of to match it, Sinclair's one, Bale Champions League final, Mexes, Emre Can scored a brilliant one for
Champions League final.
For
Ronaldo
Liverpool.
against Juve.
Ronaldo, Crouch scored a couple back in the day for Liverpool, but that one, because it was so behind him, and he's not a tall guy, he's had to really get himself up and twist his body, top bins. If Pickford had longer arms, he might have saved it.
No one saved that.
Joseph says, listen carefully, Reece James has never been better than Trent at any point in time in his career. Uncle Mad says, Emery bottled a top 4 and Europa League final, but when Arteta does it, when Arteta does it, he's not got it in him to get us over the line. Emery, no way, he's saying. JC says, Smirkle just told Don Robbie, Smirkle, that's me harsh, the greatest to hold on. Are you mad? Humble yourself before the Don peasant. Lukewarm Palmer says, AK Palmer. Says AK, I'm twisting up today. Red Square says, with Emery, we are facing the most shots in Europe. Playing Torreira out of 10, the game management was non-existent, and people are quick to forget that. I do think people, it's just the wrong club for him at the wrong time, really. S says, our worst top 4 bottle under Unai, AGT Revolutionism. Cryptic Dino says, Robbie, you should let the stat master read the super chats. I love your work, but you're the godfather of the fan channels, but let the striker score the goal. That's harsh. Cameron says, Matisse really said that he'll take Luis to replace Enzo in January. Speak.
Not my
But
tweet.
he didn't say that, though. We've established that.
Oh, it's not. Oh, these are the tweets that
Let's
you're
get
not
the IP
doing.
address just to confirm.
Jorge says,
but I believe
Hugo
Matisse.
Sanchez overhead kick for Madrid in the 80s.
Yeah, that
Ricky
was a
Protzer
crazy
says, AGT, can you relieve Robbie of Super Chat? He's really on my case. All right, take over then. But in the meantime,
democracy rules.
I was going to ask you about the Liverpool. All right, let me talk about the Arsenal game, and then we'll get to Liverpool.
Before that,
and Man
though, we have
City.
to remind the viewers of our Arsenal bet that we've got on with Fair Play this week. If you type in Saka, very easy name to type out. There is a water brand, which is a very good one, by the way. Good pH levels. When you're signing up to it, if you believe that Saka will score or an assist against Wolves, you win your free £5 bet. As we know, gamble aware 18 plus. But yeah, let's go to Arsenal. I think
Arsenal, 1-0 winners. 1-0 to the Arsenal, that old tagline. I have to say, in the first half,
Honestly,
Brian and
just
Buemo,
leave.
man. Brian and Buemo.
Honest, had enough
Just
of this.
can't, don't
It's
worry about it.
ridiculous.
Just-
How could Kai Havertz go and do that? Honestly.
Sorry, we're just having a chat.
Kai Havertz scored again. I remember you lot
down
mocking
the
for
drain.
Fuck me, bro. Worst weekend ever, I'm telling you.
You
It
may
doesn't
mock-
get any worse than that.
When you saw that go in, you must have.
Maybe if the Tottenham finishing had been as good as Havertz, we wouldn't be in this position right now.
One chance, one goal.
My God. Wow, so low.
By the way, I think this is the record.
Has she just
of
started?
viewers.
low.
I think
She
this
just
is the record
started.
of
Is
viewers
it?
that we've ever had on this show.
She's the one who started on me.
I think so.
You started on me today. You
I
started
never
on me
started on you.
today.
I'm just
You
asking
started
you
on
about the
me
game. And you
today.
asked me about our game.
Talk about
I said it was a bit of a
King
dodgy. That was a dodgy
King
moment. Aaron Ramsdale.
Wow.
I said
He
this
got
when I
away
was doing a
from it,
video earlier.
Got
It's the
away with
weird
you.
thing about this game, right? Is that when he had the Arsenal fans behind him, he was mad nervous. You saw that mistake he made there. Did you see the throw?
Yeah.
Yes.
When he threw it.
Crazy.
I was like, when he did,
Yes,
when he
I
did that,
did.
I was like, oh my God. I
then the
looked
kick as
over.
well.
I looked over in the stands where his dad was quite near. I felt so bad for him, man. I was like, he's having an absolute
he's
shocker.
nervous, man.
But then what happened is, in the second half now, when he went and he's in front of all the Brentford fans and they were giving him so much stick, right? He played better. He's like, he rose to that. He's like, the nerves went and he had a good second half. But he did have a bit of a nightmare in that first half. But I think that Arsenal, you know what I mean, listen, apart from those errors, we were knocking on the door, We weren't great in that game, I have to say.
It was a poor watch.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest of games.
Second half,
They-
Mope, mate, Ty was nearly going to be flipping in
Honestly.
here, going mad.
Great
I
bit of
told you,
defending
off the
by
line,
Zinchenko.
He does not
But the
score.
thing is,
Yeah, he
the thing
doesn't.
is about
Awful.
the thing is about Arsenal this season is that they are finding different ways to play, right? And it was made, you know, they had a very low block Brentford, who were very, very difficult to break down. They've got a great record against London club. I think that's 14 London derbies in a row. They haven't lost one, apart from when they lost to us last year, which was at Brentford. And to get a win there, knowing that if we won, we go back to the top, go to the top for the first time this season because of the draw earlier on in the day. I thought it was an important goal by Kai Havertz. Sort of goal that could really lift off his career because he came on and just in a couple of little moments he was on, he looked good. Yet again, Saka with a great assist. People like to, you know, when I did my little team of the season so far the other day, people having a stick at me because I put Saka in.
It should still be Salah.
I said,
It should
hold
still
on.
be Salah.
I said, I put Saka in. It's my team.
Yeah, it's still
My
it's
bloody
still
team.
wrong. It's still
my
wrong.
bloody team.
Doesn't matter if
Right?
Saka got an
And I
assist. It's
said-
still
and
wrong.
this is, right? Right, even though I was being a bit biased, right? But one of the reasons I am is because this guy is so good. He's so effective in games. His numbers are unbelievable. And in tight games like that, he always turns up. He's always got a moment in him. And it's a great delivery. Kai Havertz, bang, down on that. Arsenal go to the
It
top
seemed
of the
like it was going to be one of those games because I was watching it with a load of Arsenal fans in the pub, and
It's a poor performance.
it was one of those games where even Arsenal fans are saying, typical Arsenal, we've got the position to go to number one in the table and we're going to throw it away. And then when Havertz scored, I looked around, no one wanted to celebrate because it was him that scored it. And I couldn't get my head around
that
it.
must
It
be a
was a
weird. That's
typical
a weird
Arsenal.
pub because
I think it was a
It was
typical
the
Arsenal
that's
best
a weird
pub,
pub
I'll
because
be
right
honest.
now the thing is about Havertz, right, is that all the fans have been. Listen, there might have been a lot of fans for definite, right, that have been very, very like confused as to why we brought him in. But the one thing I would say, right, going to the games, the fans are right behind him. That's why I've been like, why
Big
is
up
he?
to
I've been-
Arteta for taking him
Yeah,
over
a lot
to
of
the
times
fans
I've been
at the
like,
end,
why is Havertz sort of playing like he's nervous, right? The fans are behind you, bro. They want you to succeed. And that was a huge goal for him. They're all singing his name. And a massive 3 points for Arsenal. Weren't, not a lot to talk about in the game, but we got the job done.
But Arsenal are
I think
solid.
Arsenal this season,
they're solid,
Yeah,
man.
we're solid. We're adapting differently. I think that's our third 1-0 victory away from home. I think we've got the best defensive record as well. You know, and this guy, Declan Rice.
I was just about to say that.
What a
he just
signing.
it doesn't matter what game it is.
What a signing.
He just runs the game. He just runs the
Driving
game. He never
force.
puts a foot wrong. He's always in the right position to intercept.
He hasn't had a yellow card this season.
Saying perfectly times his tackles. He's you talk about 105 million pound for a player, and you go, I'll tell you what, if they're 105 million, they should score. They should do this. They should do that. But when you see what he does,
And he scores a few.
and how good he is,
He's worth
he's worth every single penny because
Do you
he
wish
has
you were-
elevated Arsenal.
No,
He's
that was
elevated
actually
Arsenal.
just a genuine question. Do you wish that it would have
he
been
does.
Rice that you had instead of Enzo, for example? Like the money you spent?
they're not the same player. I think Rice versus Caicedo is probably a fairer comparison because they're both there to break up play. But it's early days in both careers. But I knew Rice was going to do well for Arsenal anyway. Like it's no myth. The guy's been captain of West Ham. He's won the Conference League. He's been playing in the Premier League for like 3-4 years at the top level. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the armband from Odegaard at some point in the future. Obviously, they've got to be respectful about it, but I think he'll probably get it. So it's not really a surprise, to be honest, that he's playing like that. Yeah, it is what it is.
Oh my god. Oh my
Fuck's
good
sake.
god.
Shameless settings. No. Get rid of that t-shirt, man.
Oh my god.
Nah, mate, yeah, innit?
Throw that t-shirt away.
Oh yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Yeah, bring it back. Let's jinx this shit.
Come on. Let's touch it. Let's
Yeah. Get that on the table. Get that on the table, just like last season. Yeah. Get that out there. Yeah, stretch that out. Nice.
That was a bad
Thanks, Cecil. No, don't touch it. Don't touch it, bro.
all that
Yeah, leave that
Spursy
there.
goodness.
Leave
All
that there, man.
Spursy goodness.
Yeah,
on
leave
the
that there.
shirt.
Leave that
Done
there.
it now, mate.
Chelsea.
That's what
Is that the
I'm
OG shirt,
talking
yeah?
So you know what? No, I'll tell you one thing.
talking
all right?
about.
Has he printed a new one?
I'll tell you one thing.
You
Chelsea were 8th
still
on the
managed
shirt.
there as well.
You're 12th now. You're 12th at the moment. You're doing worse than you were last season.
You're 12th.
How have you managed that?
We haven't even spoken about
You're
City
12th.
game.
Shame.
Yeah?
I thought you were 10th.
Yeah, let's talk about.
You're 12th.
Allow me,
They're
bro.
12th. No, 10th.
They're
Sorry,
10th.
10th.
I was
Sorry,
gonna say, they're
10th.
not- they're- no,
Still worse
they're
off
not
than
12th.
last year. GT, Man City versus Liverpool. Okay, you must be happy with a point, isn't it?
Yeah, listen,
Now,
23 wins in a row at the Etihad they've got, and we go there and snatch something.
it was a snatch as well.
It was a
I
little
mean,
bit of a snatch, but we
They
got, we
did
did
sort
it.
of they dominated
We
the
did it, though.
first half. Now, I did have a question to ask you, yeah? Because a couple of weeks ago, you sat here in the studio and you told me...
Who, me?
You told me
if you think-
when I was moaning about that Gabriel
No, because I said it was a foul.
two-handed push in the back. No, you didn't.
This guy. Well, just find me the clip of me saying it wasn't. I said it was a foul, Rob. And I said the ball was out.
What did you think of your one then?
I've shown Flex before, like the screenshot of where his arm is
The screenshot.
pulling
come on.
Alisson's arm
He's
down.
not
Listen,
pulling
it's
it.
soft, but it's a foul. Like, what more do you want? They've gone by the rules. You can't do that to goalkeepers as they're about to catch a ball with two hands and you're trying
Alisson
to put his
dropped
arm
the
down.
ball.
Listen, Alisson had a poor game.
Yeah,
it's
he did.
actually one of the worst performances I've seen from Alisson. The passing, amazing save by Foden from Foden's shot. But it was a foul. But that doesn't take away the fact that he had a really below par game, and it might look now like he's unfortunately injured as well.
Did you think
which
that was
for
a
us?
The disallowed goal.
Jesus. When I
disallowed.
saw it, I'm not. It's different like mechanics of where they were, but like I said about the Joe Linton Gabriel one, just it looks like the opposition players looking for it.
Don't
soft.
show me that.
Like freeze frames don't mean
Zoom in.
nothing.
All I'm saying is if
frames
one's
don't
not
mean
going to
nothing.
get given, the other one can't get
No
given.
consistency.
But it's
No,
the keeper.
we
It's
know
the
there's
keeper.
no
If you
consistency.
do that to the keeper,
Yeah, I didn't.
They
I
just
don't
give
expect
it, but
it.
I
I'm just
think
saying
it's-
that's
I think it's
inconsistent.
very.
That's a foul,
I think it's very soft.
It's a foul.
I think it's very soft.
It's very soft.
I'll give you it's soft.
I don't
but
think it's
a
a
foul.
But on a keeper, that's gonna get given all this, especially because it led directly to a goal as
But
well.
I think that was a great result for Liverpool. I mean, to go to the Etihad and to get a draw, very, very
Right,
difficult
Trent's
place to
goal
go to.
with the new Predators as well. What a time
Yeah,
for
what
Adidas
a-
to drop that.
Their marking couldn't have gone
any better at all.
Any better.
And all this chat about Doku getting past Trent 7 times. What did he do with it though?
He was
Nothing.
roasting him though, man.
You
Jeez.
say that,
No, I
but
don't
if you
think he
actually
was, you
look,
know.
he didn't actually get past.
Nah, I
him.
looked at Doku.
Trust
That
me,
was a
man.
bit of a bottle of
It was
fizzy
a-
pop.
it-
That's like just
It was
shake
a
it, shake
Saint-Maximin
it. You might not sure what it's
It was
gonna
that
do.
ASM performance, Alan Saint-Maximin. Amazing player. I've spoken about how good he is.
It was
but
that.
Trent actually had, in my opinion, especially in the second half, a great game, great finish. I saw DR Sports for some reason saying Salah was ghosted. He got another assist, mate. So I don't know what you're talking about in the edit suite in there. But we come away with the point. Me and Doyle were celebrating it like we won on.
Didn't play great though, did he?
We
Salah?
didn't play great. No, who Salah in particular. Listen, he's,
No,
he's
none of
due
your-
a quiet
none of your
game
forwards
every
did,
now
yeah.
and again. But Trent, the way he scored,
I don't think it was a great game.
and then he shushed.
it wasn't
the
a great
Man
game.
City
I don't
fans.
think it was a classic. It definitely
No, it
wasn't.
wasn't. It wasn't.
It was a pretty boring game, I think, by your standards in terms of City
Yeah,
Liverpool.
but-
It definitely should have been the 5:30, and that's not just because I hate Arsenal, but it should have been a 5:30.
Yeah,
and I think
100%.
maybe you should have probably been the earlier one. Get that,
Get that out of the way.
boring
But
game out of the way.
for Trent to shush them Man City fans that were giving him
So
stick.
if we
Pep was
pay at
asking for
12:30, we
games.
get 3 points. I'm good.
But I
Love
do
it,
agree.
mate.
Like that's a bit annoying that was a 12:30 because like 12:30s never have the energy. Like they just it's very rare that
You
a
saw
12:30
Pep
has
asking
it.
Pep was
the
asking
noise
for the
from
crowd,
fans.
isn't it?
I
Yeah,
don't blame him, mate.
step
Empty
up.
That was
headsets.
bad, isn't it? That was
Early
bad.
morning.
He's having to like,
guys,
you know,
come on, guys, I don't hear this.
that's bad that he's having to
So,
like.
no, listen, I'll definitely take the goal. I think we've gifted them the goal, though, their goal. You know, Alisson's kick, 9 times out of 10, that kick that he's trying to do is the one that he did against City last season, the one he did against United the season before, where he catches it clean and Salah goes off and runs and
Yeah, but
scores.
it just went up, didn't
It
it?
just went up, but the gap that Matip and Van Dijk left is inexcusable. For you to not really have your eye on Haaland where he's going, maybe they didn't expect Ake to go round 3 players, but at the same time, in that kind of narrow environment, you have to get tighter to your man. It was a scuffed shot, which hits the floor. Alisson gets a hand to it, should have saved it. And that's another, maybe a bad point for Alisson.
Alisson didn't have a great game at all.
No,
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't even have a go.
By his standards.
Super
Yeah,
rare.
Do
by
you
his
think
standards,
that
yeah.
maybe the standard of that game wasn't as great as it should be because
Because
it
of the
is
kickoff.
straight after the international
100%.
break?
Yeah,
It'd be naive to
Did you
say
see
he
what
had nothing to
I
do
mean,
with it.
Allison wouldn't have got me a bit like all our Brazilian players as well. They weren't back until Thursday.
We had one day to
crazy.
train with this team.
They had like a very, physical, emotional
Against
game.
Rob, we had
on
one
Wednesday.
day. McAllister came out after and said they had a team meeting on Friday. He said he was struggling to keep his eyes open. He was playing for Argentina in South America.
same with,
he said he genuinely was sitting in that meeting nodding off like you are now. So, we
Maybe
take
it's
the
what
1
Klopp was saying.
point. Maybe. But we had one day to train. Listen, I'm not going to go back to the whole 12:30 thing because in the end of the day...
Same for both teams, isn't it?
Same for
Yeah.
both teams.
Yeah.
We come away with the point. And again, Fulham on Sunday, we've got a fairly favourable run now going into to mid-December when we play you and West Ham. So, yeah, nothing... I'll do a Matisse now. There's nothing there's nothing acceptable apart from 5 out of 5 in every competition that we're playing in right now. We've got Fulham at home on Sunday, Lask on Thursday. Hopefully I can be at that. And, we take the point and we go into next week.
Let me just quickly run through some of the other results. Burnley, another defeat for them at home.
Last minute.
Last minute defeat
West
against
Ham,
West Ham.
Jamie
Newcastle. Sorry, we know that one. Luton 2,
up
Crystal
Luton, man.
Palace 1. Luton, again, that was right at the end of the game. Elise saying that goal scored an absolute
Great goal.
banger.
Fair play to Luton.
Back them this week.
Great result for Brighton. They went away and beat Nottingham Forest. That was 3-2 to Brighton in that game. Sheffield United beaten at home by Bournemouth. Impressive performance by Bournemouth. 3-1. Sheffield United, another damaging defeat for them. And of course, the results from yesterday's game. So if we look at the table at the moment, Arsenal at the moment sitting top with 30, Man City in second on 29, Liverpool on 28 and Aston Villa on 28, all very, very tight at the top. 5th place Tottenham on 26 and Man United just behind them on 24 points, followed by Newcastle on 23 in the Conference League places at the moment. Bottom of the league, Burnley bottom on 4 points. Everton, of course, with that point deduction on 4 points as well, in trouble. And Sheffield United on 5 points. Luton, big winners, and Bournemouth at the weekend. They got 9 points. Bournemouth now on 12 points. Massive couple of wins for Bournemouth. And of course, there's a game on tonight. Fulham taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. That is happening tonight. It's been a full-on show today. We've got any more super chats?
3 more. JC says, honestly believe Rice's hunger to win will bring us closer to a title than Partey will. He just wants it more and wants to win it all. You can see it. He also says Noodles' only shot on target was his verbal at Pep. He actually had a header that was very well saved by Edison. So you can come at me with your fake stats, but I'll put you back in your box, fella. Shout out Rodders. He says, hope Liverpool win the league so it can stop Cecil. And there's your lot, Rob.
And listen, we had a great show today. What did you say? Record numbers?
11K.
Record numbers, man. We
Record
were
numbers
touching
up to
12K today. So shout out to you lot.
Thank you very much for watching
up.
the show today and participating. It's been absolutely brilliant. You talking to me now, Abby?
Not sure.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Fully not talking to me.
Don't be like this on Thursday.
What's Thursday?
Next show.
All right, yeah.
God,
sorry.
keep up, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Matisse?
Matisse's words per show is going down every week.
Yeah, innit?
Honestly, this has been
going up before.
This has
Do you
been
know
the
what?
worst weekend.
We could do
worst weekend for a very long
we
time.
could do fair play on that. How many
Many
times
words.
Matisse will speak on a show?
Worst weekend in
I'll put a
ages,
fiver on
honestly.
Fiver on that?
Shocking.
Flicks, thank you very much,
big up,
AGT,
man.
and thanks
Big
to
up.
you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe here to DR Sports if you haven't already for all of our excellent programs. And we'll be back on Thursday. We'll be previewing the weekend's games. It's going to be really, really interesting this weekend. So make sure you join us. Thanks for watching.